Hello, Mark Attwood here. Mark Attwood Show. How you doing? It's St. Patrick's Day. So if that's you, I mean, if it's not, well, you're not St. Patrick, obviously, but if you're got any kind of Irish in you, I hope you're having a fantastic time. And I want to talk about Ascension today. So before I start, remember in the box, there's the email list. Get onto the email list. Then you can stay in touch with me because I'm all over Rumble and YouTube and different places because different videos have to go to different places, and email is the best way of me staying in touch with you. But I want to talk about Ascension today with the amazing Honey C. Golden. Hello, honey. I'm home.
Hi.
How are you?
You are home.
I am.
Yeah,
home.
me too.
Yeah, that just reminds me of a line out of Highlander. Do you remember? Do you ever see that? Do you ever watch that film?
Oh yeah, The Quickening.
Yes, my favorite film.
Yeah,
I think it's probably my favorite. Everyone after it was rubbish, but the first one was brilliant.
Yeah, the first one was great.
And there's a line in it where the beautiful wife that he has turns to him and goes, "Where are we, Connor?" And he just goes, "We're in the Highlands. Where else?" In his French Scottish accent. So anyway, I need to talk to you. Okay. Somebody put a message up on Telegram saying, "Honey says the Ascension's next Tuesday." I was like, well, I need to speak to Honey then.
Well, the Ascension, so there's a window, okay? There's a window of time, and the solar, I'm just calling it light codes at this point because everybody gets very wound up about everything. So basically, we are ramping up. So think of the light codes as a mountain, okay? We get to the top of the mountain at the end of March. So that's going to be the most intense time, right? And all the way through July, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. And a lot of that will be people deciding whether they want to ascend or not ascend.
Why would anybody not want to ascend?
Because maybe their soul is too young to ascend. Another thing is maybe they've already decided to be more service to self than service to others. So they're not ready to ascend either.
I don't understand that either.
Okay. So
I mean, I understand it. I just don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't, I can't imagine.
So let's go to service to self. So service to self is the people that think they have to take from others in order to pad their own existence.
That's what I don't get because I'm not like that.
Right. But the service to others are like you. They take care of themselves and they spread it around. Right.
Yeah. Well, that's just a natural state, isn't it?
Those people are going. And the ones who are service to self, a lot of them are fairly young souls, or maybe they've chosen this to be their dark lifetime. Because a lot of people, like all souls, as they age, have to learn what the dark lifetime is.
Did you? I'm a bit mischievous today. I thought you said our souls.
No, all souls.
All souls, yes. Sorry.
All. So naughty. So then
hey, you think this is
you knocked me off track with my discussion here.
Sorry, honey. Wait till you see my interview with Christiane Northrup. I was very naughty on that one.
Oh no. Okay.
I made her laugh though. It was good. Anyway, I'll shut up and let you carry on.
No, so if you're a service to others, then you are ascending unless you decide, I just can't do it. Right? And it's the soul deciding. And then also you have a body. So your body consciousness has to be willing to ascend as well. And that is like all of the crystalline. I wrote some stuff down. But if you're a crystalline person, if your body has gone crystalline, then basically what we're doing is we've created the outline of the crystalline body. Think about it as a coloring book. And now we're filling in everything. Some people chose not to get a crystalline body. So
I've been taking burdock roots since you told me to.
Oh, good. And you're feeling good?
Every day, yeah. No, great. I feel brilliant.
Good. Yeah. So the crystalline body is, we need the minerals from the burdock root. That's the point of the burdock root. It also is great for cleansing the blood.
Well, I've been doing that like crazy. I've got my Bob Beck zapper. Have you ever had one of those? You seen those?
I have seen it. I was going to get it and then I forgot.
Yeah, it came. It's like it really. It's quite. You know, it does buzz you. It does zap you. And I've got the. I've got the. I can't find it. I've got the wrist laser. I've been cleaning my blood a lot.
Good. Good. So what Mark is doing is part of the point of ascension, and that's having fun. It's really important that we have fun, that we're silly, that we enjoy ourselves. I think a lot of us starseeds have been way too serious. We've been really intense. Like, this is the way we have to be so we can go through ascension, and we're going to drag all these people with us. They need to come on their own, and you are just like, in a nice way, you're like the Pied Piper.
Yeah, well, I want to dance into ascension.
Yes. Yeah. And joy is going to take you there faster than anything else. So if you're not in the love vibration, get there first and then get into joy. And that's going to help you. For sure.
Oh, by the way, thank you for introducing me to FCB. I had a great chat with him.
You're welcome. Yeah, he's fun.
He's a lovely guy, really lovely guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So, and thank you for introducing me to Brad and to Janine.
Oh God, yeah, you've been on Brad's. Yeah. Abby told me the other day. So you've been really busy, I know that, and everything's really around this time because FCB and I did the rods on it. This is March Madness that Q talked about.
Oh yeah.
But can you paint a picture for the viewers? Because I keep getting this thing about the fake nuclear thing in March. You know, I don't know if that's correct or not. Do you get that? Are you getting that kind of thing?
I get it'll go right to the edge. We may see some sort of bomb that's not real, you know, some sort of event. I don't really get that anything will be destroyed unless it's an empty building kind of thing. It's going to be a lot kinder than September and then 1/1. So I think it's mainly for shock value. All of this is for shock value. And there's a few people that have a chance to ascend, but they're walking around in a fog. And this is to pull them out of that. And there's just been so much programming. The younger souls that have a chance to actually go through ascension, they're having a hard time getting it together to wake up, basically. You don't have to be completely awake to ascend either.
Interesting.
Yeah. So service to others is the key, and having some joy in your life, like being willing to let go. Because a lot of us like are not paying attention to the fact that we're attached to all this stuff. And we're attached to the 3D and the way it works. And if we're attached to it, we're not going. So you have to be willing to let go. You have to break those ties. You can still love things. You know, I still love to do things like painting and crafting, but not being attached to having to hold on to it is really important.
I got this message in my suicidal period, let everything go. And it was a really, really deep understanding that I had of it then.
Yeah.
Because I knew about letting go from studying Taoism years ago. And I was putting memes out 10 years ago, let go, you know, but I didn't know what I was talking about. I didn't fully understand it. But the most important thing is, do I have to let go of my Jaguar?
Yes.
No, don't say that.
Let go of your attachment to it.
Can I take it with me?
So here's the thing. We're not going to have, we may have some of our stuff go with us, but letting go of the attachment to, can I hold it in my backpack and go? We have to think of this as kind of like a death. It's a death where our body is going with us. Okay.
Can I take my car?
We're not actually physically dying, but we're letting go of this world.
Yeah, but can I go in the car? Oh, come on,
That's
honey.
up to you. You can try.
Yeah. I want to go.
You might have to try again the next day outside of the car. So I would break your attachment to that.
No, I'm joking, because
just love it up while you have it, you know.
Well, that's the thing. When you're living in the present moment, you live. That is the way of letting go, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're not attached to the past or the future. You're outcome independent, and then you're happy-go-lucky. And when you're happy-go-lucky, you're happy. And when you're happy, your vibration goes up, and you don't need to hold on to anything, and you can just enjoy them for what they are in the moment.
Correct. Now, there are attachments that we don't deposit. So we agree to them. So think of it like if somebody's going fishing and you're the fish.
Yeah.
So somebody is casting their line, they're hooking into you, and they're pulling energy away. So I do suggest you say, I break all attachments every morning if anybody's, you know, attached, and it'll get more and more where nobody gets to attach because you're saying no. So breaking those agreements is really important because we have attachments with our loved ones, and it's not actually healthy to be attached that way because it drains energy on both sides. So making sure that you're containing your own energy and nobody else's, and also nobody else's opinions, is very important.
Yeah, I think that's the bit people probably struggle the most with.
Yeah. So take it and ruminate over it. Say, is that true for me? Do the sway test, or do what Mark is doing and do the rods, or use a pendulum. Yeah, do the muscle test. Whatever it is.
Good one, that.
Do those things so that you know within you that it's right. Listen to your gut. You know?
Yeah, well, that's
not every way will be right for every person. You know, not every road will be correct for every person. That would be boring.
You know, when you said you don't have to be awake to ascend, the people that are not awake that start ascending, it's going to be a bit of a shock for them, isn't it?
Yeah, but mostly I'm talking about, so there's groups, age groups mostly, of people that are really not awakened. They don't need to know all the bad stuff. So like if you have a teenager and that teenager is aware of how the universe works, they're activated, but they don't want to hear about what's been going on in the world or under the ground, that's okay because they're not supposed to know that. They're manifesting the future. So not everybody has to know about the ugly stuff.
So how does this all tie in with the ice wall coming down, the firmament breaking, and all of that? How does this all tie up?
Well, that's just part of the ascension. Like those frequencies can't be held any longer. Earth is in the middle of activating her crystalline body. So Earth has gone through part of the ascension process already. She's moving through it. And she's taking us with her. And those lower frequencies are not going to be allowed on her anymore. She won't tolerate it. So that's a big part of ascension. And also we need to raise our own vibrations so that we can be comfortable here. So the people that are getting more and more uncomfortable, they're not doing their work.
I've noticed quite a few people being a little bit tetchy recently.
Yeah.
Especially in videos and stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and either that's because they need to release something that they're hanging on to, you know, some sort of trauma or whatever, or they're not actually meant to ascend. It's one of two things. It just depends on how long are they stuck in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an intense time, and it's going to get more intense. And as we go through March, it'll kind of like, we'll start to come down the mountain. I'm trying to get these hands right, but we're going to come down the mountain, but that is going to just keep extending for months. That feeling of, okay, I can't handle this energy, or I love this energy. So one or the
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Well, I think it's being aware. Well, that's the thing. If you're not even aware of any of this happening, well, I suppose everybody watching this is aware of
Their
this
soul is, though.
Yeah,
Their
yeah.
soul's aware. So it just depends on how much programming they have. But like the kids, they come in and they're activated, you know? So a
Well,
lot of them are already activated and they don't need to know the icky stuff because
No.
actually that's a contrast that's too ugly for them. They're already activated. They don't need it to push them into an activation. So they're fine.
Did you see President Trump's Agenda 47 speech about the 10 new cities, the new baby boom, and the flying cars and all of that?
I saw clips of it, and I love it because that's basically what I've been talking about.
I know. That's what I was, when he was speaking, I was like, he's talking about 5D right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was talking about beautifying America and getting rid of ugly buildings and vertical takeoff cars and the babies. I was talking with Michelle Fielding about it, and I agree with what she got. It's because these babies have they're high frequency. So it's like repopulating the race with these high frequency beings.
Exactly. And they're the ones who are like, we're amazing manifestors.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you pay attention to what you want, not what you don't want. So if you're it's good to have a little contrast, but it's not good to wallow in it. So if you can feel yourself starting to drop when you're watching something, turn it off.
Yeah.
And go find something else. Go find a cat video or a dog video or a toddler video that makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Go do something that brings your vibration back up.
I was saying this on a video yesterday that before you go to bed, just go and watch some comedy on YouTube or something and get those, you know, get the vibe right before you hit the sack.
Yeah, it's really important. We don't need to be entertaining the negative anymore. It's there for contrast. There was a purpose for it, but we're coming out of that purpose and we need to move into creating good, fun stuff for ourselves because Ascension is fun, you know? It's like a circus you never could imagine, basically.
Well, I don't know if you saw the video of me in the Peak District with the stone circles and the 5D sun. Did you manage to see that? It's okay if you didn't. So. But yeah, I'm having this really fascinating relationship with the sun because I went into this. Sorry, guys, if you've heard this story before, but Honey hasn't. So I went into the stone circle. As soon as I got there, I got told it's the intersection of 9 ley lines in the UK. I got told this is the most powerful stone circle in the UK, if not the world. And then I got told there's a blockage over there. So I ran over there, we found 10 stones outside of the stone circle with Victoria Regina on, VR, and then GR. The last one was GR, George Rex, father of Queen Elizabeth II. I got told these were blocking the energy, have been for over 100 years. And then we cleared them. And then as we cleared the last one, literally the sun came out of nowhere. It was a really overcast, grey, windy day. Sun came out of nowhere and it totally changed. It turned into this animated thing with a black outline with a light going around like this. And then on the inside, it was all sort of plasma electricity, like the old Frankenstein movies, you know, it was like, and then all these lights started coming out and I had 5 witnesses and I was going, oh my God, look at that. And I've been sun gazing ever since, and it does it too. It does it every time I look at it. It changes. It's like a different. Yeah. It's hard to explain because it's like animated. It's the same feeling I got when I saw that ship a year and a half ago. It was like it was animated. It's a different type of light. I
think you're seeing the frequency.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. And I mean, you can also feel the codes coming in as well.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that's happening to me is I'm starting to see my past lives.
Yeah.
It's really weird. But it's like a radio signal that's just getting more tuned in. And then I'm going, ooh. And then it's like you can feel the multidimensionality of it and the lack of time. And it's like flexing a muscle. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah. That's part of Ascension. Like the keys to all your Akashic records are going to be within you. And it's like you're going to have access to everything as you need it. So if you're remembering a past life, there's something in there that pertains to what you're doing now.
Well, that's so interesting, because it's all synchronistic. The reason I was sat here like this at the beginning, reading up on,
oh yeah,
is because there was an argument last night on one of my friends' channels between Charlie Freak and Jason Q over these guys.
Yeah.
But this came 3 days after somebody had emailed me and said they remembered me from a past life when I was the head. I don't know whether I should say this. I was the head of the Knights Templar. And I hid the gold multidimensionally away from the French. I love this job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, we've all had these really interesting lifetimes where we have to kind of learn stuff. We're learning all of this information. And the thing is we're in one lifetime and then another lifetime. Like, it's all at the same time. Time doesn't really exist. So we're grabbing pieces that we need pertaining to this. And the problem with this lifetime has been that everything's been hidden. Yeah. And now that it's not hidden anymore and we're starting to see it, it's going to change everybody's perspective. And the people that are remembering this sooner, they're going to be leading the way. Like, well, I just heard about this. That came from inside me. What are you getting? You know? And that's going to help people just keep elevating up, because we're amazing, really. If you think about it, like, we're immortal beings inside of a body. The biggest difference is that this body is going to go with us into ascension, which I don't think has ever happened before.
No, I don't think it has either. And I've been doing the rods on how long I'm going to live, and the number gets very high.
Yeah. Which is
quite fun. It's fun. It's, you know, my daughter says, "Why do you want to live that long and be boring?" And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. It's like going to be a candy. The things that we're going to be able to do is, you want to be around for a long time."
Yeah, it's going to be instant manifestation. We're going to be able to experience all kinds of magical things and explore and do all kinds of things that a lot of times, like, I don't really feel like anybody's ever gone from this low to this high, you know? Just consider it like every 10 years you have a new adventure that you're going to be doing. And you've learned all that you can learn in that adventure, and then you go to the next and the next.
Well, this brings up a question. What are relationships going to be like the other side of this?
They're going to be with our soul tribe. So they're going to be long-lasting relationships with people that we've had relationships for hundreds of thousands of years. So you'll know when you meet them, but they're not going to be like the 3D relationship. Like, oh, you can't go and see that person. I don't know what you're going to be doing. Or, you know, jealousy. The whole paradigm's going to shift. It's going to be sacred instead of, oh, we have to do it 3 times a week, or we have to do that, or, you know, all this kind of stuff is not going to exist. It's not going to be thought of that way. It's going to be, I'm honoring myself, and how can I honor you as well as my partner?
And physically, what's it going to be like physically? If we're going to become crystalline and we can levitate and we can do all this stuff, are we still going to look the same?
We're going to anti-age. So I think the med beds are like a patch to that. And some people will need them and some people will not need them. It just depends. A lot of it depends on how ill you already may be, too. Bodies don't always completely cooperate. You also have to release the issues in the body as well as in the, you know, the emotional body. So the physical body gets stuck easier. But I think the med beds are going to be a patch to that. But we're not going to necessarily need them either. So we have a reset within us to go back to a younger age. We're going to be able to grow if we want to grow. We'll probably be able to change what color we are. Like maybe you'll become, you know, purple or whatever. But that's down the line. That's not like right away. That's part of our learning experience. But some of us could be 800 years old before we decide to go.
Ooh, it's exciting. So on a practical level, people watching this, if you're having trouble with manifesting, when you sign up to my email list, you get a free PDF on how to speed up manifesting. So one of the tricks, one of the things I teach people is how you word the things that you want. Don't say I want something, because then you push it away. So you just flip it to why have I got this, or why am I so? And you ask the question, because the universe has to answer a question so it comes quicker. And you write these down, because when you write these things down, you've got to reprogram yourself and that's how you keep the negative things away, by just constantly going over positive things that you want. And with the attachment stuff that you're talking about, I found a very powerful way of doing that was to write down the names of the people that you have these attachments to, and then write down gratitude for all the lessons they've taught you. Might be an ex-wife, right? Or an ex-husband, somebody you are currently probably still with, right? But if you write down, but you know, they've given you they're all lessons. All these relationships are just lessons.
It's all lessons.
They're just experiences.
And you chose it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes, I know. And your soul evolves from these experiences, however difficult they are. So you write down your gratitude, what you're grateful for the lessons that person's taught you, really meditate on them, and then just burn the piece of paper with that on, and then watch it float away. Because I found that very useful in the past. Have you got any other practical tips for people?
Well, I like to imagine it as an actual string that's lit up and is draining energy from both parties, and I cut that. But you want to know what the source of it is. So let's say it's a husband and a wife. And for the wife, it's like, I can't survive without him, you know? So it's a lack mentality. And for him, it's, I really love her to be around and to support me in the home. You know, I couldn't deal with the house without her. So that attachment gets created, and you have to think about what's the source of that as well. And you do need to make it true. Like you're being grateful for the lesson, you're letting go of it, and you're dissolving that string. And then you heal up wherever it was attached. That's kind of an intense way to do it. So if you can't visualize all of that, then do it the way that Mark is saying. Whatever you do, let's say you need to do that one twice, and it's an intense thing to let go of that. The main thing is, it doesn't mean that you don't love this person anymore. So if you're still in a love relationship with this person, or it's one of your children or your parent or whatever, it doesn't mean you're stopping the love. You're just stopping the energy drain.
Yeah, it is very, very powerful when you do that, because you start to feel that energy. I've got to the point where I know where there's chinks, and I know where there's a problem, and I fix it pretty quickly now. Whereas 3 years ago, I was being drained constantly, and all the psychic attacks and everything else. It was like, it really was a war, right? But now, those psychic attacks have vastly, almost completely disappeared. You know, and that's been like that for a few months.
Right. Well, and part of that's Earth.
Yeah.
So as Earth upgraded and went into crystalline, and now she's like filling in her crystalline pattern, as she went crystalline, a lot of stuff got kicked off. So a lot of energy that we've been dealing with for the last 3 years got exited during that process.
Yeah, I kind of intuitively knew that, and I concur with that. It feels like that to me, and I feel extremely positive.
Yeah.
About the future.
Yeah, I am too. It's going to be amazing. And the thing is that for us, like the best thing you can do is find some things that you enjoy to do every day. So put joy into your routine and make it more fun, because it's going to make it easier to go through this process, because we don't want it to be like work and a bummer to go through ascension. We want it to be an amazing, magical thing. So that's important. I think we've gotten very serious too. Yeah. So it's good when people are watching you and you're having fun, you know, it's really good.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been told that all the way through since this started, you know, just keep trying to make people smile, because it's the best medicine.
It is.
You know,
it's the best. And a lot of us are old souls, so we've experienced this before. You know, we've already ascended in other lifetimes, probably many times.
I was going to bring that up because I get that feeling.
Yeah.
I get that feeling we've done it before, but this is super special.
It is, because the body's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a chance to bring our physical form with us into the fourth density and the fifth dimension. And then that dimension can go up and up and up. But bringing your body into the fourth density and being a crystalline body supports all this higher consciousness. Like, it just makes it easier for your body to deal with that consciousness. So it's an amazing thing that's happening right now. And a lot of that's all about the codes coming in and helping the body change and the DNA activate.
So, you know, I've been talking about people's psychic abilities getting stronger, the Peter Tingle thing that I call the pito erections, when your left and right brain are in harmony, coming up all the time. And actually, you can actually practice to do that. And that is another muscle that you can flex. What other things do you see coming online or build it or being more noticeable?
People are going to get more and more intuitive with sight. They're going to actually see things. I think eventually our eyes, our smell, and our ears, so our eyes, nose, and ears will be upgraded. And that's happened with a few people that I know. Like, they can see more of the light spectrum. That started. We will have skin that is going to be kind of sparkly. We're going to contain more light. There's so many things that we're going to be able to do. We're going to be able to heal with a thought. We're going to bring our light body's powers into the physical body. So we're going to be able to do things that are more like a Marvel movie, you know? So like superpowers.
Captain America Civil War, but not Captain Marvel. That was shit.
Yeah, no, like what's that, Green Lantern, or, you know, where you shoot energy from your hands. And we're doing that already, but we can't see it.
Yeah.
So like when you're healing somebody remotely, you're using the field or the ether to transfer that energy, but you're going to be able to do it on a larger scale. And some people are going to be able to see that energy come from the palms of your hands. So we're going to become more of a channel. Yeah. So
I can feel it. I can feel it, but I can't see it.
Yeah, I can't see it yet either, but I know that we will.
I can feel it though.
Yeah.
I've always had good healing hands anyway, even when I was younger.
Yeah.
I did do Reiki, but I don't practice it.
Me too. I just don't practice it the way they had it laid out.
No, I didn't relate to everything they were teaching, but I understood the mechanics of it. And it's it's powerful stuff. So have you done any more gorgeous drawings recently that I've not seen?
I don't know. I have a bunch. Is there something you're looking for?
No, I just like your drawings. I think
I have a painting. I have one I did when I was a kid. You want to see that?
Yeah. Well, that looks like 5D to me.
Yeah. So I have a and I didn't tap into this because I'm very distractible and I'm not really supposed to know a lot of this stuff because I want to go there. But another part of me is living in the crystal cities right now. So when I got that information, because I used to draw them when I was little, and you get this information, you're like, oh, I want to go right now, you know, and you actually can go. You can leave your body and stay there instead. But we came here with a purpose. So my higher self is like, don't look at that.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I'm
you
looking
have
at
a
that.
job to do here.
You've got a job to do.
Yeah.
Get back to work.
Yeah, it's funny. So basically, like, we're in multiple places at once. We have to remember that too. And we can draw on that for more knowledge. Yeah.
How would you do that?
I would do it with meditation. I would create a protected space with energy, and then I would just tap into it and ask certain questions. How does the 5D actually work? What is that going to look like to me? Ask the questions that you want to know and imagine it. I mean, it really is kind of like the Avatar movie. So, you know, when they're stepping at night on the turf or whatever, and all of a sudden it's like lighting up and all the flowers are lit up. I mean, it's really like that.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to see the energy of everything.
Yeah, I did sit through.
It's going to be amazing.
I did sit through the last Avatar movie because
I didn't watch it, but the first one I watched. The second one I heard it was even more fighting than the first one.
Wow. I mean, it was about adrenochrome. They're right there in your face. Right there in your face. But still a stunning achievement. And I do love the way that nature gets represented in those films. It's it's how I kind of feel, you know, because I walk through the woods feeling the trees. I actually I pay attention to the trees because they are communicating with us all the time.
All the time.
They're giving us this amazing energy. And it's you know, I'm looking forward to dangling my feet in the lake when it warms up a little bit.
Yeah. Like the ideal would be like leaning against a tree and having your feet in the water at the same time.
With little fishes.
I mean, the amount of energy going through you would be like tremendous. And the trees can help you elevate. So if you're having a hard time tapping in, go lean against a tree.
Yeah, I always put my back to it. And so it's because you're in the energy flow then.
Exactly.
Yeah. And something I'm going to do next week, because it's the spring equinox on Monday. And then obviously we're ascending on Tuesday.
There's a window of time that goes through 2027. I actually got this morning that it's narrowing. So it's coming back more towards 2026 at this point. So people will be ascending at different times. But there's people that are like not totally decided. Like maybe their crystalline body is building and filling in, but emotionally they're not sure if they want to be here.
So strange. You know, I wrote a story when I was about 12 years old about humans changing from carbon to crystalline, and I didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah. Well, you came in knowing what you're in for.
I know, it's funny though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remembered that not long ago, and I was like, where did I get that from?
It's great. Yeah, I mean, we can create planets, really. I mean, we're very amazing and very old. So, but the key is to still be a humble being and not be like, oh, I'm so, you know, awesome. Because there's so many of us. Like, we all have that. But if we combine it, it's tremendous what we could do.
Well, I feel like my whole life's been a lesson in humility.
Yeah, it's important to have it, honestly.
I was extremely cocky when I was younger. And it kind of gets beaten out of you by life's experiences. And
yeah, some of that's hormonal too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call them the horrible moans. So when you hit 12 and then you're like this weird person till you're about 30, like there's all these hormones percolating around in your body. It definitely influences things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great experience being human. I've absolutely loved it.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And I don't want it to end. There's so much fun to be had.
It really is. So why not stay and just enjoy it? You know, that's kind of my attitude. Why not just ascend with the planet?
Yeah. So so I know people watching this will a lot of them are still trying to figure out what's going on in 3D. So I hang out on Twitter quite a bit recently because it's been a lot of fun just to test the free speech aspect of it.
Right.
And so I've quite enjoyed that. But there are people out there going, when's the first arrest going to happen and all this other stuff, all this kind of Q stuff. Do you tap into any of that? Do you bother with any of that, or do you just ignore it completely?
Sometimes I do shows with Lisa from Morocco quite a bit. And we talk about that. But honestly, the less we try and figure out when it's going to happen, the faster it will happen. So when we put out the dates, it basically cancels it. So like if I said, oh, it's going to happen on the 23rd, President Trump's back on the 23rd. If I said that, then that would be canceled as a possibility.
Well, that's what I think's happened with all the predictions over the last few years, because as soon as you predict it, it pushes it away.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's all this stuff is happening. We're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of that storm, but I see us on the beginning edge of it. I don't see us like the tornado's not on top of us yet. It's coming. So you can see it and it's coming at you and it's raining and all that kind of stuff, but you're not right in the middle of it yet. You're not having to jump into the basement or the bathtub or whatever.
This tweet everybody's waiting for, the storm is upon us. What do you think that storm is?
I think it's just the storm of consciousness changing and it's everything, You think about all the world is changing. So you've got the government, the medical community, and then you also have the financial. So all of those are tied together and they're going to all sync at the same time. So think of them, they're going to go through that tornado and they're going to actually be destroyed. And then the schools, that idea of what education is, and then it will be how church has been set up. So as we go through that process, some people are going to do great in one area and they're going to do horrible in another area because they're really attached to it. But those things have to fall away for ascension. And we also have to realize that we're abundant beings and we have to get out of the root chakra and the fight or flight. So if you're really hooked into that stuff, like when is it going to happen? I need it to happen. Then you're actually pushing it further away.
Yeah. And it starts with how you think about it. And what I was going to tell you about next week is the spring equinox on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in Aries, and the new moon in Aries is next Monday, Tuesday, and a bit of Wednesday. So I'm going to spend those. I'm just saying this to the guys watching as well. I'm going to spend that time meditating on rising the chrism oil up my spine.
Oh, good. Yeah.
That's the time we should be doing it through what I've been learning, and I'm gonna enjoy that because I can feel it coming. Do you know what I mean?
It's building. Yeah. It's building. It feels calm right now. I've noticed, like people feel kind of serene at the moment.
It's a bit eerie.
Yeah, it's a little eerie, and
it's like being at sea when there's a fog and there's no wind. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, here comes the wind and the snow. So we are in prep for that, I would say. And a lot of people are like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? And I say, get a little money out of the bank, put it at home, and get a little food, and then just forget about it. Because we have to just go on and get what you need and then quit thinking about it so that you can just go forward. Yeah.
Well, that's the perfect sentence to end on because it's St. Patrick's Day and I'm going to the pub.
Well, have fun.
And I'm going to go
I
watch
hope
the
you get some
parade.
green beer.
I don't think I've never had green beer, have I?
Oh, they do that here in the US.
Do they?
Yeah.
If I find a green pint, I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to you on WhatsApp.
Okay, good.
And you can have one with me.
Yeah, because I don't drink beer.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
Yeah.
I don't generally, but I do like a pint of Guinness on St. Patrick's. You know, less than I used to. Let's put it that way. But I do like a pint of Guinness.
Yeah. Well, it's a tradition, and I think it's good to just enjoy them, but not be attached to them.
That's exactly what I said this morning on Telegram, and it's the same as all of these things. You know, when I first started waking up, I go, "We can't celebrate this. I can't celebrate that." I know, because I'd be like, "That represents this," but it's all about our intention. And the fact is, lots of people will be out having fun today, and that's just a lovely thing. So
it is, and it raises your own consciousness.
Yeah, so you take from it what you need, and you know, if you have Patrick's Day is quite big in America, isn't it? Because there's a lot of, especially in Chicago, New York.
It's pretty big. I mean, I have Irish in me, so there's a lot of Irish.
Aren't you coming to Ireland soon?
I am, but it'll probably be more in June.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be a big welcome for you from Abby, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah, there's lots to see. You've got to do all the sacred sites. They're incredible.
We will. Yeah, I just want to bring my husband this time. So
good. Good. Well, give him my love, and thanks for doing this earlier, because I did ask you to do it a bit early so I could go and see this parade. And I appreciate you. Thank you very much, honey.
Thank you. Have fun and have a happy day.
And you too, and everybody watching.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.